defense.
Welcome to Split the Defense Leafs post-game presented by LaForest Electrical Contractors, serving Kingston and the surrounding area since 2004. I'm Webby with CP. No producer Ted tonight. Little bit of a kids' table. All technical difficulties. My fault. I'll own it. I'll take it.
It's half on me because I'm not helping at all. So
I guess that's fair. That's fair. Big win for the Leafs. Leafs win 6-4. There was a little bit of doubt in the end there. I really wasn't sure whether they were going to hold it together. But overall, huge night. Great night. What's the story of the night, CP? I'll let you take it away.
Oh, I mean, it's got to be Matthew Knies has a breakout game after so many games of kind of being average. So I'd say that's the story of the game. Also, just the Leafs getting their captain back and being able to put goals on the board. That's like something that you personally have been complaining about, is just the lack of entertainment basically from this team. Even I'm like someone who likes the shutdown style a bit more, but I have to admit it's been a little dry. But yeah, so you get some excitement, you get a hat trick from Matthew Knies and your captain back and looking stronger than ever. I don't know. He looked pretty good.
I think that's a great place to start. Absolutely. Matthew Knies, I broke it down like this. Beautiful heads up tip by Knies on the first goal. Beautiful. Yeah. Just what a heads up IQ play. That was his first goal since December 14th. He's been on a bit of a dry spell. I think he got an assist the other night, but he's not been scoring. He's not been playing up to his ability.
He got a goal called back.
You called him a bit of a passenger player. And Matthews hasn't been around. He is a really good complementary player. I'm not sure I like the word passenger, but that's fair enough. Then anyways, his second goal of the year, January 4th. It is 4 days into the new year, and Matthew Knies has already scored the goal of the year. That behind the back goal was the most beautiful thing I've seen from a Toronto Maple Leaf this season by far.
Wow.
And then they call the front man, gets his first career hat trick. The man was on fire tonight. He gets 4 points, or it might even be 5 points. I'm not sure if he got any an assist on that Matthews goal at the end because I couldn't quite get the stats up, but at least 4 points. He's a +5, and he's got 5 goals in 7 meetings against the Boston Bruins in his career. Man likes to score against the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny, I think it's 3 games ago, or maybe it's 4 games ago, he gets a goal called back on him. And so demoralizing. And that could have been the game that kind of broke him out. But yeah, tonight to get not just 1, but 2 and 3. And honestly, could have had 4 if Marner would just take a little risky pass there and give it to him. But yeah, absolutely great display from him for sure.
He absolutely could have had 4, but it was about winning the game. And honestly, it's a good thing he did because they ended up scoring another goal after that. So just put it away. I don't have a problem with that at all. Matthew Knies, he's on a contract year. Marner's on a contract year. They both need the goals the same.
He has to understand that. There's no way
it'd be different if he had 2. It'd be different if he had 2, though, right?
Yeah.
But he since he already had his hat trick, then at that point it's just kind of like it's a team game. Just end it, and it doesn't really matter who scores the goal. So I really didn't have a problem with that.
I think also there's a bit of a storyline going through the team about this year is about team success, not about personal success. You've heard Matthews and Marner both talk about it. So I think that even though Marner is keeping it for himself, that's part of it. Whatever that word is, exemplifies, whatever I'm supposed to say there. So yeah, I didn't have any problem with it at all. And honestly, just to keep going on the open nets, the Matthews one, even though that's an empty net goal, what a hustle play, lay out and dive and to get a stick on it. And he's not winning that foot battle with Pasta. Pasta's definitely beating him to that puck if he doesn't lay out like that. So nice to see that open net too.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he's got like 26 points in 25 games now, or 27 points in 25 games now. It's unbelievable because he sat so much of this season. But like, I'm just looking at the stats here. I don't think they've updated tonight, but it says 24 games played. I think this was his 25th. 11 goals, 12 assists, like 23 points in 24 games, and he got 3 points tonight, right? So
Yeah.
like. Yeah, unbelievable. Matthews back. Entertainment value just went right through the roof. It was like you finally have a top six. You can finally see a flash of dominance and not just like play hard and play the right way and you're going to squeak some wins out. Like you can see the unfoldings of a team. I did have a little bit of problems with the third line, but I still want to brag on this team for a bit. So I want to talk about the first line. With Matthews back tonight, they had 66% of the shots for, 62% of the expected goals for, 80% of the high danger chances for, while taking most of their faceoffs in the defensive end. You had 3 points for Matthews, 4 points for Marner, 4 points for Nye, or 3 points for Marner, 4 points for Nyes.
I mean,
what a night for that line.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you should get from that line. You know, like it's not nothing like, you know, it's not like you should come to expect it night in and night out, but it shouldn't be a surprise when like it's like a $30 million line there, and it should provide some success for your team. You know, I just think that
like when Matthew Nyes makes. No, it's not. It's like, I mean, it's cool. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's like $25 million line.
$25 million.
It makes like 850K.
Okay, LA, let me like exaggerate by
so
just a little bit.
13 plus 10 plus 850. Yeah, it's like 24.
We're at 24. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. An expensive line. You should get some production out of it. And I think it just shows that like Matthews actually might have come back healthy. Like, I don't know if he's looking at being 80% or 90%, but that looked like a regular Matthews game to me. You know, he didn't necessarily score 5-on-5, but he did score, and he just looked like he was strong. He was using his body. I don't know. I was pretty happy with what I saw from him. And Marner just did exactly what Marner's been doing all year, controlling play. The play on like the sideboard where he gets the puck over to McCabe to take the shot and score. Like they did that play like 4 or 5 times tonight. And like he's just was seeming to be able to find his way through the traffic. And that was kind of the problem I found against the 2 Islanders games, is you weren't able to get anything through the zone. Way better this game.
I think that had a lot to do with the defensive style of the Bruins. I watched that tonight and I noticed the same thing. And I picked up that the Bruins like to collapse towards the strong side of the ice. So wherever the puck is, they really pressure the puck carrier, constantly leaving somebody open on the other side of the ice, and Marner picked up on that. Now that didn't happen as of like mid-second period or like beginning second period, middle of the game, somewhere in there. So they did realize what they were doing and eased up on putting so much pressure in the defensive end, because that's exactly what the Leafs were doing. They were taking it into a corner and then just shoveling it out to the guy on the open side and getting chance after chance. And that's exactly what led to the Jake McCabe goal.
And Jake 2 other big opportunities as well. The Leafs' whole style, their whole style is just basically trying to create 2-on-1s as many places as they can, and that's just what you saw there. It's like, even though it's the strong side, like they're sending, like in the goal instance, it's Marner and Matthews 2-on-1 on a player. Matthews is a big part of taking body contact with the defenseman, and it leaves Marner to be able to get the puck and make a move. So you're not going to be able to do that, you know, all night long, because like the boss, they did pick up on it, but the first period was kind of the most dominant period to me, even though they didn't score the most in it. But they came out like feeling really good.
You have to be feeling really good, but I mean, like, you want to beat Boston, and like I want to look like, what are the standings right now? If the Leafs were to get in the playoffs today, like they'd be like in first, and the wild card team would be Boston Bruins. No, they're in third place, so they'd play the Panthers in the first round. Which, like, okay, you guys have fun with that bloodbath, but guess who we might end up with? Somebody like the Lightning, or who else are you looking at? Blue Jackets. Okay, well, I guess you're doing all right.
What the Blue Jackets?
What happened
that
here?
Can't be real.
Blue Jackets, Penguins. Yeah. So no, I guess you're.
I would love either of those.
Yeah,
I mean,
Blue Jackets,
imagine
Penguins.
a series
Flyers,
against
maybe.
Crosby. That's something that this team just, that's exciting to me. Like coming first is important just for the entertainment part of it. I know like it's technically an easier team, but I mean, it is playoff hockey. Anything can happen, but it's more of just like, I'm just sick of seeing Boston and Tampa every year. Like this is Bettman's plan to create rivalries, but it just, I don't know. It doesn't create excitement, that's for sure. So yeah, I would welcome, like obviously I would welcome Columbus, but yeah, even Pittsburgh would be great.
So it'd be Toronto, Ottawa. No, it'd be Toronto, Tampa.
Toronto,
It'd be
Tampa right now?
Tampa. Yeah, but it could be Toronto, Ottawa. So
That'd be
Ottawa's
awesome.
currently holding the second wild card spot. Tampa's in first, but they're 2 points back. Ottawa's got 3 games ahead. Like Tampa's got 3 games on them, 2 points ahead. But yeah, it could be. It's not going to be crazy. That's a big deal. That's why you got to play good through these games. That's why you got to beat the Boston Bruins and keep them where they are and stay in first in the division, stay ahead of Florida. Now 40 games played, 52 points. That's 2 points ahead of Florida. Actually, we might even get. I think that was 41 games played, 54 points tonight. So I think we're even further ahead. And then yeah, you get to play a team like, hopefully Ottawa, but I mean, you got Washington's at 55 points, so they might play them. I guess my point earlier was Tampa Bay is also right there, right? You're going to run into that. So it's like either way, like you really need to take these games and put yourself in the absolute best position to hopefully let the better, the teams that you don't want to face beat up on each other before you get there.
Yeah.
So the Leafs finally get a goal on the back end. Jake McCabe. That was
Yes.
awesome. Great heads up play. Leafs have 8 goals by defensemen this year. That's good for 32nd in the NHL. Now, we keep talking about needing a third line center, and I know we're going to have a break here in another La La Land time where we talk about the Four Nations Cup, but trades are going to need to happen, and trade deadline is coming eventually. You get 90 days probably until the trade deadline, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And do you think the Leafs should be looking at more offense on their back end going into the playoffs, or do you think they're set up just fine the way they are?
I mean, ideally, I would like more offense from there. I would rather like solidify the forwards, just because like I do think that the defense is set up for playoff hockey, and that's just part of what the management is trying to do is get big and tough and clear bodies out. And yeah, maybe it's nicer to get some production throughout the season with some offensive guys, but I would take a Luke Shen over whoever this third line or third pairing guy who's like can move the puck really well, but just does dick all in front of his net. Like I'll take Luke Shen any day. So I would like to see more from the guys on this team. Like this team has 2 offensive defensemen and they're not providing, and it's Riley and OEL. And just that's part of it, I think, is figuring out how the guys you have can get it going. Because if you bring in someone else offensive, I think OEL doesn't have to be on this team. Like, what do you do here then?
Yeah, he's not doing what I think he's supposed to be doing. I don't think it's working out. I think that like ideally, I think it would be great to have, if like in a perfect world, Simon Benoit shoots right, and we put OEL on the bottom pair with Simon Benoit, and that is a great third pair. And then you need somebody in your top 4 that can play with an offensive touch, like and I don't hate even Morgan Riley not being on the top pair. Like Jake, Chris Tanev's a great player. I like Jake McCabe. Like if either one of them were on a second line with a guy who was had that offensive touch, I wouldn't hate it. But I just think they need more in the back end. I don't think what they have right now is going to breed success, especially with the style of play that they have. Like they like to feed the point and put pucks on net, and the better shot that you can get, like just watching Washington last week and Jacob Chikrin's shot, it's all I can think about.
Yeah, it would be a really nice addition to this team. And I do like point shots. I think it is like a really important part of hockey. Like the Leafs do it a little bit, but not well. Like they don't have a guy who just has a way of finding his way through or just has a cannon of a shot. Like Philippe Meyer might have the hardest shot on the team, and like we've hardly seen it. So yeah, it is interesting. And also I have a question for you. Like we've now given Philippe Meyer a 2-year contract, and he seems to be stapled to Riley. Is Riley now like, does that make Riley like a third pairing defenseman? like Philippe
No,
Meyer.
I think it makes Philip Myers Ilya Lyubushkin.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just it seems like that's not like when I saw him playing there initially, it was like great to see him get some time, but like that's not ideally where you want that guy. Like if Riley still has to have tough minutes. And I know their numbers have been great, but like I just think that Philly Meyer is a perfect third pairing defenseman. Like and we're just automatically now just giving him the contract to be the second pair guy, which I just think is a little odd. So I still
I
if
feel
we're
like
missing someone, it might be there.
I feel like it's probably like not so much the coach either. Like, and maybe it is, and maybe everybody in that organization just has like that peaked in high school mentality where they look back on the good old days and they're trying to recreate that bomb season from Morgan Riley with Ron Hainsey, and he was a nobody, right? So they just
Yeah.
want to find a guy that fits and plays that style game well. And I wonder if they just keep plugging guys because like this seems like it seemed like Morgan Riley and Chris Tanev were set to be. Like that
Yeah.
should be it. That's the top pairing. And now that's not it. And they're just sticking him with Guy again. And it seems like they're just trying the same thing over and over. And it's like, well, it kind of works. It kind of works. I don't hate Myers. I don't hate Myers with Riley either. Like they've got a 59.7 expected goals for together. They got a 59.8 high danger chance for together. So like they are winning their minutes. They're not dominating, but they are winning their minutes. I would like a little more out of Myers, but again, like the guy hasn't played much NHL hockey in the last few years. I don't know. Like let's see what he looks like in February and March, and maybe he starts to come into it, and we see something there. But like it does feel a lot like this team's insane in the way that they just keep putting Guy with Morgan Riley and hoping that Morgan Riley will shine again and putting him through these minutes. It is nice that they do have another two basically reliable pairings. Like the second and third pairing are both decent. You don't really have a terrible defense pairing on this team like we have in the past. So it can shelter them a little bit. And you can, take experiments like this, take a chance. But I really would like to see somebody play, like somebody take over that role that Morgan Riley's supposed to fill of the offensive and just not leave it all to him. Like, I don't know if OEL's that guy. I'm just not sure he is. That's my whole point.
Actually, yeah, and actually, Justin in the comments bring up that like OEL is supposed to be that guy, right? Like we got him. He started the year so well, and he just kind of faded off, and like I felt like we were warned about this. Like when this isn't a guy who's like he's a spring chicken and just defining his game. Like we knew who OEL was, but it is like maybe you can kind of find that magic when it counts. I'm just not sure if it's that OEL has two different gears and we're just seeing two different ones, or if he just is a bit of a streaky player and like Miller says, like can bring a physicality one day, but like where's it gone,
Yeah, and there also may be a point of self-preservation too, right? Like
right.
they're in first. Do what you need to and not much more because you don't want to overextend yourself and get hurt. You'd rather be healthy for the playoffs, and as long as you're not like they're in first place. If they were losing games and they're fighting for a playoff spot right now, I wonder if you might see a little bit different style game out of OEL. He might be pushing harder to create offense, but with this Berube style and the success that they've had with it, I wonder if he's just bought in more and maybe just kind of complacent in that fact that he just like, well, I don't need to be that guy, where I do think like somebody needs to speak with him and say, oh yeah, we do need you to be that guy. You need to score some fucking goals for us here. We can't just have it all relying on the forwards because there's like half the shots of the game are from the point.
Yeah. The one thing, like OEL got scratched 2 games ago, right? Like I haven't been really locked in online to know what the reasoning was, but was that the reason? Was it a bit of a like, your spot here isn't secure, or was it? Am I overthinking that? And he had like a family thing going on.
I don't know. It could have been maintenance. It could have been anything.
Yeah.
I don't have
because
I didn't read anything about that, so I'm not sure.
It's one thing to kind of take it off, but if you're kind of losing your spot in the lineup is a totally other thing. So but ideally, I would love OEL to be a third pairing defenseman. So, but it feels weird now because I love Myers as a player, but I'm not sure how confident I am in him on a second pair. But like it's almost like the guy that I want to replace is one of my favorites. But yeah, it's kind of, you're right. There hasn't been a lock-in guy, and we are just kind of putting guy there, and you are convincing me that
Feels
maybe
like they're
the
just
back
trying
end
it
is,
again.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
again, we're gonna try this again. Didn't we already see that? Like we got Chris Tanev to solve this problem, and now all of a sudden the problem's not solved. So we're just gonna stick guy again, guy who is fringe NHL player who we're going to give a shot. Who like I mean, Ilya Lyubushkin was not that. I can't think of iterations. I mean, I think did Shen play with Riley? I can't
yeah,
quite remember,
oh yeah,
but like
yeah,
you're looking for that type of player, and we know Myers can be the stay at home, lay big hits type of player and defensively responsible. But
yeah.
like it feels like you need more like of a superstar. You need more something there. And like if they want, I liked at the beginning of the season when they had OEL and Riley together, and they're like, I want a puck moving pair. Like I want some shit to happen. Like especially if they're decent. Like Morgan Riley can defend. He's not a bum. He's not the best defender, but he can defend. So get him somebody else that's like Morgan Riley and put two of them out there. Like that, I would prefer like Jake McCabe up there than that. You know, but the problem is we really like Jake McCabe where he is and what he does now.
You said up there, but he is up there already because our top pair is McCabe and Tanev. Morgan Riley is the second pair, and I think what you're describing is OEL at his best. You know, like when he's playing his
Maybe
best, he's a great
OEL?
two-way. Yeah, like he's a great two-way player. He can move the puck, he can shoot the puck, and he's great with his stick. Like we've seen him bring the physicality. It's just like, yeah, where is it gone? And so, yeah, like what can you expect? Like coming to the trade deadline, are you coming back, or like are you just not that guy now? Like that's the thing with when a guy is streaky, you can't just rely on him. Then like,
yeah. Again, I don't know. You have to you have to think about the whole self-preservation thing and where they are in the standings, and they're not desperate. So he's
also
not playing desperate, and maybe that was a part of his game. Like he was playing for a contract last year too, right? Like, so he scored 9 goals last year. Like I don't know if we're going to get that from OEL this year.
No. And I think like the management knows way better than us, like what the storyline's been, you know, like maybe he has been working through things. And so, yeah, like maybe they would have, or they do definitely have a better picture of what's going on there.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
All right. I noticed tonight, Max Domi, he seems off. He seemed off this game big time. The third line did have a few chances, but I feel like that was mostly McMahon and Robertson. They looked pretty pedestrian. I feel like that had a lot to do with Max Domi's, was like the Monsters came and took his juju tonight. He couldn't create a pass. He kept skating down the wrong lane. He wasn't in the right spot, running into people. More and more, I think that this team needs somebody as a center, and I wasn't sure, who's going to go, but I feel like it's going to be, I figured it out tonight, it's going to be Nick Robertson because he's upped his value so much. He's playing with so much passion right now. He's going to be traded out the door, and it's going to be Max Domi shifted over to the wing with this center that we get for Nick Robertson and picks and probably Fraser Minton. But, we'll see what happens there. I'm just spitballing here. But my whole point is Max Domi just really doesn't do it on that third line, and I feel like McMahon and Robertson do, and I maybe you have to move Domi over. Do you think there's any world where they trade Max Domi this year? It's a tough pill to swallow, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
especially with the whole core talk. Brad Tree Living saying we want this core to be extended. We don't want it to be just 4 players. We want to have a team. To trade away a Max Domi just because you do need. He's not filling the role that he needs to fill. He's not doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, I think the number one reason that I think that he's gonna stick around is last game. Is that he's still one of the few guys that's just willing to mix it up and bring the team energy when nothing's going on. And Robertson, yes, he's bringing it all and he's throwing checks now and everything, but he's not going to scrap it up like Domi's going to. And so I think that's something that you're never trading this guy. Literally, I think this guy's retiring here. He's going to be on this team. And I do just right wing is such a better home for him. And yeah, it's that's my number one get for this team as a third line centerman. And it's And it's not like going to get a guy who is like a top 6 guy that you're going to put into your third line. Like, this is a guy who knows how to play third line center. And I think like we're not going to get a Ryan O'Reilly of this year. We're not getting Jonathan Taves. Like, we're going and get like,
No.
Yanni Gourde is the only one that really checks the boxes for me. Cause like he's having a down year. And so like I think you can get him at cheaper. He's on an expiring contract, but he brings it, dude. And that guy's got grit. He'll put it all on the line for you. And like that's what I'm looking to pair with like a duo like Domi and Bobby McMahon. And I think that's the recipe for success there, is make a line that's just awful to play against, is going to pop you a goal. Like, you know, every 2 or 3 games, they'll get a good goal. But for the most part, they're out there to wear on you. And yeah, I don't want Brock Nelson anymore. I don't want Granlund.
No.
Like, everyone that's talking about JT Miller to the Leafs, like, not a chance. Like, this
happening.
No, like, it's going to be a cheap guy. I just need it to be a guy that brings what Domi brings too. Bring that to your third line.
Yeah, no, I agree fully on that. You do need a grittier guy. Yanni Gourde plays tough. I wouldn't necessarily call him like, you know, a tough guy or anything like that, but he's
gritty.
He's an energy guy, and he can score. He can like I don't exactly remember his numbers when he played with Coleman and Goodrow, but I do know Goodrow was not the offensive one, and they were scoring goals. So, like, I'm pretty sure that had to do a lot to do with Gordon and Coleman. So, you know, if you can replicate something like that here, he's on a $5.5 million contract in Seattle. If Seattle's selling, I could see the Leafs being very interested in Yanni Gourde. And, you know, it might cost to Nick Robertson, but if he keeps playing the way he does, then you can expect that. The thing is that you want to keep the guys that are here, except for the problem is you can see on a night when they aren't able to bring it like they are against a team like Buffalo or a team like the New York Islanders or another lower level team where they look dominant and we go, wow, the third line, we figured it out. It's a great line. It's awesome. And then they play a real team and it's like, they're all right. Mm-hmm. Like, we need better than all right. We've seen that in the playoffs because, you know, you start to get down to the best 8 teams in the league, you know, or like, you know, best 8 teams in your conference even, then it's a lot harder of competition and your top lines start canceling each other out. So you need that third line to be dominant. So yeah, I can really see like, you know, Domi's showing that he can't really do the job as well as we need it to be done, but he's kind of locked in with his contract and he's a Domi. So feels like he's going to be here. Robertson looks really good. He's playing with a lot of passion and he already asked for a trade. So, like, I think he's probably going to end up being traded somewhere once his value is up here if he continues to play well. And I wonder if it's going to be to Seattle. That's probably a great destination for everybody because I feel like Nick Robertson could flourish there too.
Yeah, and I think like everyone that's like a little upset about that, if that ended up being the thing and he ends up being a great player somewhere, like if 2 months ago you told me that even just to talk about Nick Robertson would have the value to get Yanni Gourde, that'd been crazy. I would have called you crazy. And so just to be in that ballpark where we're like, well, he's
it might
bringing
cost Minton too.
Well, I don't think
maybe
it's
not
both,
because players every time we do that, it's like nobody costs that much. It never costs that much. It'll be like a third round pick, like Robertson and a third. Like, how the fuck? Yeah, half retained. Like how the fuck? Like, like oh yeah.
Treliving's a genius, but then the next year it happens again. So yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's nuts. I don't know. We always overdo like what you're going to expect a player is going to cost, what to get to the Leafs. I really don't think it's going to cost too much, and you probably will end up with some retention. So you know,
if you wanted JT Miller, it'd probably cost Minton. But
if we're gonna buy a player from the Seattle Kraken, though, like in all seriousness, let's just fucking take Jared McCann.
Honestly, that'd be great. Like, even though that guy is more of a not what I'm talking about, but he does bring.
He scores goals.
Yeah, that guy brings a different element where that line would have a different identity, and I'd be okay with that too. Just bring an identity. I'm not sure. And the thing is about Bobby McMahon and Domi, like they could kind of fit into a couple different styles here. So I think that's all going to depend on who that other player is. That will be what the line will be. Yeah. And that's why actually I don't want Brock Nelson, even though I was preaching him so hard. It's like, that guy doesn't have an identity. Like, I don't know. He's just like a guy. He's a pretty good guy, but he doesn't bring a thing. So I think that's why I'm leaning other ways.
It's like, I don't know, premium David Camp.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, who scores way more than David
That's
Camp,
why I called it premium.
Premium, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what it
The
is.
Uber Black version of David Camp.
Yeah, that's right.
Brock Nelson. All right, you got anything else to go off about this game, or should we wrap this one up? Because we got one coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Let's wrap.
So we're back tomorrow against the Flyers. It's going to be a Matt Murray game again, more than likely. Do you have any faith in these Matt Murray games? Does it feel like a bit of a write-off when you go into watching it? Like, I was really sick of watching these Leafs without Matthews, and I was excited to watch tonight. It was a really pump-up game, team's back, and like it means something. It's the Bruins, and it's not some shitty Buffalo or Islanders game or the middle of Christmas but playing the Flyers tomorrow with Matt Murray, like, are we going to come in here and bitch and complain if they lose, or is it just kind of be like, yeah, that's kind of what we expect?
Yeah, I mean, it always just depends on how the team plays in front of a goalie, but yeah, I mean, I never have confidence. I really don't care to see him play, but I don't know. We'll see. The thing is, like, he has I don't want to say a good goalie, but like he's an experienced goalie, and experienced goalies can pull off some pretty, big wins and big performances. So not shocked if 1 in 10 is pretty good, but I think for the most part, I'm expecting below par.
But if we had Anthony Stolarz and Joseph Woll right now, and we had Joseph Woll play tonight and Stolarz in tomorrow, would you not feel like 1,000 times better about our chances of winning the game tomorrow?
Yeah, millions times better. Like, no brainer for sure.
These Matt Murray games, they really make me feel like, well, fuck, like it's just like wasted points. Like, and we're never going to play our other goalie like back to back. It's like, every time Matt Murray wins us a game, it's like, wow, that was amazing. Where did that come from? It's just like found money. So like, I don't know, like it feels like a little bit of a toss away game when they're playing this guy.
Yeah, I'd personally rather see younger goalies get just like games here and there. But I don't know. Obviously, that's not the route they want to go.
Yeah.
All right.
That's fair enough. All right, so should we wrap this one up?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, well, thanks for... We did it. Yeah.
We did it. Yeah.
That's a wrap. Thanks for joining us for Split the Defense, Leafs post-game presented by LaForest Electrical Contractors, serving the Kingston and surrounding area since 2004. Leave us a comment, hit that like button, subscribe on YouTube, and you can't listen to us in podcast form right now because we are having technical difficulties and we still haven't figured that out. But we're still here on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. You can check us out there. Check out our socials. We're all over the place. We'll be back tomorrow night, less than 24 hours. See you then. Peace. Actually, hold on. I gotta find the outro video. Yeah, here it is. Outro video is right. Outro. Peace.
Follow the boys on Twitter at STDPWebby, at Craig D. Pearce, and at Ted_is_show.